Hi everyone. Taking a second to make sure we're connected to Facebook. As always, there's about an 8-second lag, so it takes a bit to make sure I can find myself. So I can make sure I can see your comments or anything that comes up. Or if we have technical difficulties, I want to be able to see it. So I have a few things to share with you today before we get started. There we are. So welcome to my regular Tuesday live. Today is Tuesday, February 4th, 2020. I appreciate you guys watching. Hi, Shelly. And if you're watching on the replay, hello as well. Like I said, I have a few things just to share with you before we get started to creating. First, I know a lot of you have heard about this coronavirus outbreak in certain parts of China. Because of this, the Chinese government has mandated an extension of the Chinese New Year. So for Stampin' Up, this means that the manufacturing and delivery of some of our tools and specialty paper that are imported from China might be affected. So we may see some of these things move to backorder status, but as we find out this information, we can update you. Uh-oh, can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Testing, testing. I'll wait a couple seconds to see if you have any volume here. And if you can't hear me, that's obviously not going to work. So let's write it down. See if you can hear me. Or not so much hear me, but see me. How about now? Hi, Kathy. Can you hear me okay? Shelly's reporting she can't hear me, so I just want to make sure we're all set before we get going. Okay, you can hear me. So I'm going to just write a quick note to Shelly to tell her to back out and come back in. And while we do this, I'll just share a couple of things. So over this past weekend, I held a celebration event. We gathered here at my Stampin' space, played some games, did some creating. Everybody who put in a $50 order was entered into the drawing to receive the super cute little ladybug set. Our winner was drawn, and Barb W., you'll be receiving a brand new little ladybug set with your order. So it was a really fun, exciting day, and I appreciate everybody coming out and creating with me. It was a good time, fun morning. So as you all know, I know, technology, I tell you what. As you all know, we're in full swing of the annual celebration event from Stampin' Up. Typically, Stampin' Up makes new product available during celebration. So today launched the second release of celebration, and I did have some also printing technology issues today, but I got a few things printed. So they are now offering the there's some foils, specialty designer series paper. There's a Rise and Shine stamp set that is free with a $100 purchase. It's actually the mugs that actually coordinate with the dies from the Christmas catalog, if you remember those. So that's kind of a really super cute set. That's in the new Celebration release. There's this cute Well Dressed, which is nice for manly cards. It has a we don't have a lot of manly card stuff, so that's kind of cool that that's being offered. There's some really pretty textured vellum in the new Celebration release as well, which is really nice. So there's a few new products available. I'm going to actually post these on my Facebook page so that you'll be able to see them a little bit better than just my printing here. Also today, they released some amazing coordination products. So these are not Celebration products, meaning that they aren't offered for free with purchase, but they are designed to coordinate with some of the Celebration items and some of the regular catalog items. So I did print out those as well. I don't have them, but I'm going to, again, post these on my Facebook page so that you can see them up close and see what they're all about. But there are some new dies that coordinate actually with a lot of new stamp set, which is really cool. So these Nature's Thought dies, they coordinate with the Positive Thoughts stamp set that's on page 23 of the new mini catalog. There's Special Day dies, and they coordinate, let me flip my paper over here, sorry if I flip that up in your face. They coordinate with the Special Someone little raccoon set on page 36 of the mini, which is really cute. And I guess I didn't even pay attention to it, but I just happened to notice that it is really cute. And it cuts out, the dies cut out the balloons, the raccoons, and all the little critters too. So those are kind of cool. And then also they have dies for the ladybug set, which is kind of cool. So they have dies that cut out all the ladybug pieces, the flower, and there's little grass and other flower pieces as well. They have the Sending Flowers die set, which actually coordinates with the Celebration set Sending You Thoughts. It has little banners to fit your sentiments. This big circle die, you can see it actually cuts out the circle and it leaves the leaves and flowers in the center. So that's a really pretty die set. And then they have an awesome die set that coordinates with this Happy Birthday to You. So it actually cuts out the cake. It cuts out just the flowers. And then there are some additional, there's a cake stand and some additional greenery in there as well. And then they have launched this Pleased as Punch Designer Series paper, which is really pretty spring colors that actually coordinate with a lot of our different punches. So the new heart punches, the tulip punch, our umbrella punch, it coordinates with a lot of the different punches that we have right now. So I'm going to post all these on my Facebook page so that you can see them, like I said, up close and personal, and get a better look at them. All right, so I think I got that out of the way. By the way, guys, all of my Facebook Live videos are uploaded onto my YouTube channel. If you've not done so and you want to, you can get notifications every time I post something to Facebook. Oh, you're back, Shelly. That's good. I don't know what happened there. So I do post all of my videos on my YouTube channel as well. So if you subscribe on YouTube, you'll actually get notifications every time there's a new video posted there. So I'll link I'll put the Facebook link in the description of this video afterwards. Okay, so we're going to make two cards tonight featuring the Bird Ballad DSP. This is some of my favorite designer series paper out of the catalog, and I wanted to show you a couple of ways to use up that paper and not leave it on a shelf, which I am guilty of at times, and I'm sure I am not alone. So it's time to use it up. So our DSP is all double-sided. Now, admittedly, sometimes there are times when I only really love one side, and I'll use that on other projects, but for the most part, I love both sides of our paper, and these types of projects are what I like to do when I just can't decide which side to use, because you can actually see them both. So we're going to go do two DSP cards tonight. One is vertical, and it has the birds on the inside, which I love. They're so cute. And then the stripes on the outside, which I love. Hi, Georgia. And then one is the horizontal version, which is, and also using the DSP, both sides that I love. So we're going to use up some DSP, and these actually are some fussy cutting around the paper. So here we go. Let's go with card number 1. We'll do the vertical card. Hi, Sue. So to do the vertical card with your designer series paper, you're going to start with a piece of DSP that is 4 by 12. Now I chose to have the birds on the inside, but you could certainly do it either way. And I think I did that because otherwise your birds would be upside down. So the stripes are going to be on the outside, the bird's going to be on the inside. So 4 by 12 for that piece of DSP. We use Whisper White, which is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and that's going to be the base of the card because the DSP is a little flimsy, so we actually mount it. You're going to mount it to a piece of cardstock just to give it a little more weight. You need another piece of Whisper White, which is going to measure 3 3/4 by 5, and that's going to be the inside for our card. And then I cut out some pieces. So I used my layering circles dies, and I cut out a scallop and a coordinating circle. And then I used the dies that coordinate with the Bird Ballad Suite, these stitched, oh goodness, now I'm not going to remember the name, the stitch nested label dies, which are really cool. They stitch on the inside and the outside. So I used the next to smallest of that die so that we can use, we can put our little thank you on it. All right, so let's start with the circle, and we're going to start with the smaller piece of Whisper White. I'm going to get out my scrap paper here. And the Memento ink. So I'm going to start with the big birds that are in this set. And I'm sure that you guys have seen this set before, but in the event you have not, this is the Free as a Bird set that we're going to be using to create all the cards. It actually coordinates with the designer series paper. First one we're going to use are these birds on the branch right here. So I'm going to ink this one up. And we're going to go right across my circle. And I'm kind of leaving this little guy out so that he doesn't show up on the circle. Like that. On the inside of the card, I'm going to use the leaves that coordinate with the set. And I stamp them just twice on the inside of the card. So I'm going to stamp them down here in the corner a couple of times just to give a little more something on the inside. And then while I have the black, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stamp my thank you on my little tag here. Now the coloring for my birds on the front here, I actually got from the designer series paper itself. I love this little guy with the pool party belly and the gray wings and head. So that's how I picked my colors for the front here. So I'm going to get my colors. And I'm going to start by coloring my stem, and this is the light crumb cake. Hi, Debbie. And I will take the dark crumb cake and just do a little bit of shading on that branch. The flowers I'm going to do in the light So Saffron. And they actually coordinate with the flowers that I cut out of the designer series paper. So I did some fussy cutting prior to going live so that you didn't have to suffer through watching me cut everything out. Does the video seem a little clearer tonight? I got some new light bulbs and I'm kind of hoping that my lighting has gotten better. I think that was my issue, why nothing was clear before and it was stressing me out. And then I'm going to take the dark, let's start, that was the light old olive. I'm going to take the dark old olive and just do a little shading again on my leaves. Thanks, Debbie. It's all about using up our paper tonight. Our beautiful designer series paper. All right, so then I'm going to go with the gray. And again, I got my inspiration off those birds from the inside, so I'm just going to mimic that guy that I saw on the inside that I liked. And I'm going to go around with some gray. And I'll do their little bellies. Oh, good. I'm glad it's clearer. I don't know why it was... Well, I do know why, obviously, because I got some new lights, so I was hoping that would help. And a little shading. And then let's do their bellies here. Their bellies are in that pool party. I'm going to start with the light. And add a little bit of shading with the dark. Okay, and then last but not least, I used the light Mango Melody, and I just gave their beaks a little color there. And then we can do the leaves that are on the inside. Again with the old olive. Time for a new old olive. I prefer the brush tip, but I've used it and I've used it in so many classes that I think it's just time to retire this one and get myself a new one, because I do love these markers. Okay, so just like that. So now all of our pieces are colored. We're going to take out the scoreboard. Now when you're scoring designer series paper, you want to be a little bit lighter handed than you would if you were scoring cardstock, because you don't want to tear it. So for the vertical card, we're going to flip it to the long side and we're going to score at 3 and 8 1/4. So once at 3 and once at 8 1/4. And that's all you need to do. So then we're going to take and we're going to fold it. Grab my bone folder here. And I'm going to mount this right onto our background. So I'm going to use tear tape, but you can use any adhesive you want. The liquid adhesive might warp your paper a little bit, but just regular snail will work as well. I have found that with my take your pick tool, this little spatula end, that using tear tape is a breeze now. It doesn't take me so long to get a hold of it. So I reach for it a little bit more often. Alright, so then we're going to center it on our white background here. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to adhere the inside as well. And this one is going to get centered as well. Now I'm typically a stander when I stamp, so trying not to get my head in the way, and I set that down before I was ready. Let's try this again. Shh, you'll never know once I fix this. Let's try that one more time. And let's glue down my boo-boo. We'll do surgery. Nobody will ever know. Okay, let's try this. I'm going to try to go this way with it here. So that I can see where I'm going. There we go. Okay, that's better. Alright, so then on the front, we're going to go ahead and we're going to layer up this guy. Oh, I am just a hot mess of avalanche here today. You can only see this desk. And that's going to go right there. On the front of our card, you can see actually I did this one backwards from the other one. My smaller flap is on the bottom, but that doesn't matter. We're just going to let it happen here. I'm going to put a piece of tear tape right here for my ribbon. And then I have a piece of our Whisper White Flax ribbon. And that's just going to go right along the bottom here. Like that. And we can give it a little trim. Just sort of flagging the little ends here. Hi, Chris. How are you? Okay, then our birds are going to get adhered on with some dimensionals. And you want to make sure that you're not putting a dimensional at the bottom. I'm just going to put one there and then a couple along the top, because this is going to overlap the bottom and you don't want your glue to stick all together here. Like that. Alright, so then to finish it off, I actually cut out some of the flowers from our designer series paper, the Bird Ballad designer series paper. So there's a piece in here that is all these little flowers. So I went ahead and I cut out some flowers that coordinated with the paper that I wanted to use. And they all actually coordinate. It's the same colors, but I wanted to use the yellow. So I took some yellow flowers and cut those out, and we're going to adhere those on with the dimensionals as well. So I'm going to put a dimensional on this one. And I'm going to put this at the top. I have to decide how I want to put it down. I don't want to cover my little bird's head. And then we're going to adhere one at the bottom. And this one I think I'm just going to put a little bit of snail on. And I'm going to put it right on the end of this thank you tag. And then the tag is going to get put on with the dimensional. And again, it's going to hang off the edge a little bit. So I'm just going to put the dimensional to one side, so that it's like that. So there we have it. Here's our first little card using the designer series paper. How cute is that paper, huh? I just love it. Okay, moving right along. So our second card, which is my favorite one, I think, we used, we're going to go horizontal with it rather than the vertical. So I used a piece of designer series paper that is 5 1/4 by 12. So I used the piece in the stack that has the little bird cages on one side and has some feathers on the other side. So we'll go ahead and we will score this one. Now you know why it was hard for me to decide which sides of these papers to use, because they're just so cute. So for the horizontal one, on the long side, we're going to score at 5 1/4. Nope, I lied. Silly. Don't listen to that. Hope you don't write that one down. We're going to score it at 4. And we're going to score it at 8. Alright, so then we're going to, again, use our bone folder. And burnish our lines. Okay, for this one, I took a piece of, this is our basic gray, and I just liked I liked it on the basic gray. It kind of ties into some of these feathers here. And our base is going to be basic gray, which is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. Thanks, Kathy. And that's going to go right on our base piece. Okay, so for this one, I didn't want it to go all the way over. I decided I wanted to see a little bit of that paper. So all I did is fold it back. I took it and I folded it back probably about an inch or so, a little over an inch. And it just gives you that little variation of color on the front. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to glue that piece down as well. like so. So for this guy, the only stamping that I did was the sentiment on the front. So I used the "Your friendship means the world to me," and we're going to use it out of the basic gray. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp it in the top left corner. And I'm going to pull this down. Sorry if my head gets in the way here, so I can try and get it straight. Not too bad. Oh, I'm going to leave the ink out. So then I took a piece of, these are just our regular stamping sponges, and I actually cut it into, you can do 6 or 8. This one happens to be an 1/8 of the stamping sponge. And I'm going to ink up the edges all the way around. And there's no stamping on the inside, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do that to the inside piece as well. And the inside piece measures 3 3/4 by 5. Okay, there we go. Okay, and then this guy's going to get glued right to the inside. And I'm stuck everywhere here. Like that. Okay, so to finish off the inside, again, I took some pieces from that designer series paper. This one is a sheet that has all kinds of different birds and flowers on it. So I took a couple of birds that I liked and I did some fussy cutting. I'm all about the fussy cutting. I enjoy it. So that's what I did for this guy. So I cut these guys out for the front, and then I have another little one that I'm going to actually put on the inside, like I did over here. And I did some of the fussy cutting already so that you didn't have to sit and watch me cut, but as I've said in videos before, when you are fussy cutting, it's easier to move your paper than your scissors. Makes the process go a lot faster, and you can get where you're going a lot faster. I know some people, they're not a fan, but I think it's one of my favorite things, is to sit and cut things out. I love the little birds on this piece of paper. Actually, I love it all. They're all really cute. This whole suite is really cute. I've made lots of little projects with it. And there is a bird in the stamp set. You could stamp the bird and color the bird. There is one bird all by itself, or there is just some flowers that you could do the same. I just wanted to show you how to use up some paper. And this is one of the ways that I like to do it. Okay, so there we go. So there's this little guy. And we're going to go ahead and glue him flat on the inside. I shouldn't do that. I'm going to have glue everywhere probably, but there he is. How cute is he? And then we're going to do the front. Just by layering up the rest of our pieces here. So this piece that I stamped, the Your Friendship Means the World to Me, is 2 3/4 by 3 3/4. And then we have a 3 by 4 piece of basic gray. And that finishes off the... Sharp snips do help, yes. You don't want to try to fussy cut with dull scissors. That would not make you a happy person, for sure. And then these guys, I decided I wanted to pop up. So I'm going to use my dimensionals. And actually I think I'll use some of the edges here, because I'm out of mini dimensionals, but waste not, want not. We have to use it all, right? Okay, and then these guys are going to go here. How cute. And then that's going to get glued to the front. So we want to, again, make sure we're just putting glue under this side. We don't want to put glue under this side, because as we open the card, that's what's going to show there. Thanks, Linda. All right, a little more tear tape and my take your pick tool. And this guy is going to get down here. All right, and last but not least, I think that it needs a little bling. So I took some of the champagne rhinestones and I'm going to go ahead and stick them on the front around there. I think 3 will do it. So there we have it. So there is the second card on how to use up your designer series paper and this beautiful bird ballad paper here. I hope you guys like these projects and you'll be inspired to use up some of your designer series paper, because that means you can buy more, right? More pretty paper. I hope you guys have a great evening. Happy stamping. Thanks, Shelly. Thanks so much. Have a good night, ladies. Bye-bye.